Thank you for joining us tonight at 5:30. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. Developing news out from Little Rock Police. They're investigating a double homicide from earlier this morning. Officers responded to the 1600 block of West 22nd Street just after midnight. They found two men who had been shot and killed. Police did not share the names of either the victims or potential suspects. Tonight, the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center is celebrating their 140th year. To start the party off, they're opening a new gallery that shares the contributions and rich history of African Americans. THV 11's Rebecca Brown shows us a first look inside.
Sunday afternoon, the doors of a brand new gallery opened wide for those young and old to witness the rich history of African Americans in Arkansas.
From education to civil rights and new exhibits that explore music and food and even sports. There's something in this space for everybody.
A project 5 years in the making, made possible by the help of Keith Fletcher, the director of the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center, who says it's important to have spaces like this.
As a Black woman in America, it's amazing to be able to have a hand in making sure that our history and culture is constantly preserved.
For Fletcher, the gallery speaks for itself and goes beyond the human eye, as its very presence exemplifies the word tenacity and perseverance.
The civil rights movement, and you think about all the enacting legislation. So we're constantly moving forward, and then sometimes it feels like we have steps back. So today, as we open the exhibits, I'm excited that I feel like this is another step in the right direction of continuing to move our history forward.
Ebony Blevins, a photographer who captures several photographs for the gallery, says the goal is for this history to be passed down from generation to generation.
I have people as young as 6 and people over 70 and older in this, and I only chose a few people.
Blevins says the true prize is the honor of capturing a photograph of one of her heroes.
So this picture right here, right behind me, is my mom, Paulette Blevins, and I'm just felt fortunate to be able to include her in this exhibition. She used to teach at Little Rock Central High School, and yeah, I feel proud.
Overall, the gallery cost $3.5 million, and Fletcher thanks all parties involved for making this happen.
When you think about the hard work that happens in this space like this, it really takes the community coming together. We can't tell the stories in there without people donating their artifacts. We can't tell the story without people willing to sit down and be honest and vulnerable about their personal connections.
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Rebecca. You can check out that gallery at the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center Tuesday through Saturday.
It's been a nice, comfortable, sunny Sunday across much of central Arkansas. There were some clouds across southeastern portions of the state following a cold front that moved through overnight and is now off to our southeast. Now that we've seen the sunset, we're starting to see temperatures falling off into more of the 50s, still holding on to 60 even in Little Rock and 61 in Pine Bluff, but 59 seen in Hot Springs and Arkadelphia. As we continue overnight, looking to keep up mainly clear skies, another cold front looking to move through to just reinforce the cooler fall air. We'll talk more about what's coming up for the rest of the week later on in the show, so make sure you stick around.
Since negotiations over the release of hostages has stopped, Israel's military operations have resumed. The international community is urging Israel to minimize civilian casualties as the death toll inside of Gaza mounts. Christian Benavidez reports.
Scenes like this are playing out throughout Gaza. A group of children searching for their father, believed to be buried under rubble following an Israeli airstrike. The Hamas-run Ministry of Health says the death toll inside Gaza now surpasses 15,000 Palestinians. The Israeli army says it has renewed its assault after negotiations for the release of more hostages held by Hamas stalled.
Following Hamas's regrettable decision to terminate the hostage release pause and resume hostilities, the IDF has resumed targeting Hamas terror targets, striking more than 400 over the weekend.
This video shows what IDF soldiers say is one of over 800 tunnel shafts belonging to Hamas, many hidden, they say, near civilian infrastructure such as schools. Israeli soldiers say they've destroyed about 500 of them.
It's also important for people to remember what they're up against here. Hamas deliberately shelters themselves inside residential buildings, hospitals, and schools, basically on purpose, putting civilians in the line of fire.
Bodies are piling up outside the few remaining hospitals still running. A majority of people are crowded in southern Gaza after Israel told them to evacuate the north. As Israel now begins its operations in the south, Palestinians are running out of places to go. Meantime, there is ongoing pressure for a ceasefire, while in Tel Aviv, an Israeli hostage who was released appeared on stage at a rally calling for more hostages to be freed. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
The UN says about 75% of Palestinians are currently displaced. Israel has published a map with evacuation zones for civilians. They've also dropped leaflets in some areas because service in much of Gaza is unreliable. Back at home, stocks have hit a new high after several twists and turns and a sluggish summer. November was their best month in more than a year. Meanwhile, mortgage rates have eased but are still close to their 20-year high in October. And there's a scarcity of homes available nationwide as well. But experts predict that could change in 2024 if rates continue to fall.
More home sellers will elect to put their homes on the market because of A, the reduced rates, and B, because they're tired of putting their life on hold.
While inflation continues to drop, many Americans are still feeling the pinch. A LendingTree survey found last year Americans took on an average of $1,500 in debt to pay for the holidays. And this year's holiday spending is on track to be even higher. Social media plays a big part in our daily lives, and with that comes the increased risk of spreading misinformation or coming across cyber threats. But a new grant awarded to UA Little Rock professors will go towards combating social media manipulation and educating students on how to recognize it. Now, that $5 million grant is from the U.S. Army to the Information Science Department. Students will develop models to defend against social media threats and create tools for near real-time analysis of the threats. The award will also help with the cost of high-speed servers to help process data quickly, while funding 15 student research slots and other jobs in the department.
This gives our students a tremendous opportunity to work on these multidisciplinary problems, engage with operationally relevant individuals, whether it is with U.S. Defense Department or NATO or our partners in Indo-Pacific region.
Some of the social media platforms that they're researching includes TikTok and Instagram. Tonight at 10, the owner of the Conway roller rink brought joy to a lot of people over the years. But more than a decade later, Larry Billings' murder remains unsolved.
You know, he cared. He cared about the community. He cared about what he did.
Tonight at 10, we're going to check in on the latest in the search for clues that could finally bring closure to his family and the community. That's tonight at 10. And a new grant is trying to help students get prepared for college as early as possible. After the break, how UCA is using the funds to help make education available for everyone. And the college football playoff is set, and so are bowl games. Later, we're going to show you where the Arkansas State Red Wolves are going after their second-place Sun Belt finish. Simone?
We've got a nice chilly December night ahead of us, but I'll have your look at the week ahead coming up after this break.